Okay, we're back. Plosy. Yahoo! You remember me. Remember everything just fine, even what happened last time, even the battle experience. Thanks to you, I can happily paint a portrait of the princess. So where should we go today, Boogie, my pal? Hee hee hee, oh no. Um, well sure, we'll take him with us for now. I should reload then. Okay. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. That was not intended. I don't want to lose all that stuff. There we go. Reboot. Okay, so now I know. Let's not waste time with that area with Kite. Um, hmm. Yeah, games that had soft resets and um, oh, was it this one? I think it was this one. Soft resets and yeah, there we go. And just reload in general. There's just a lot of those things that I guess are quality of life things that they just didn't have at the time, which is kind of weird. Any game that didn't boot you out to the main menu when you died. That's the game that I kind of stuff that I appreciated, which this game has. It just sets you on the next loop. Um, so let's see. Let's jump us, shall we? Oh, I guess not. Let's go get Anno and go over to those ruins again and see if I can do anything without dying. You have a modded PS2. One of the nicest things to be able to soft reset anything. Okay, that's cool. I've been at one point I thought about trying to mod the PS2 to play Japanese games and stuff like that, and it just never. Now that I can actually emulate stuff on my computer, fine. It's not so much of an issue. Sliders of the world. That's an interesting way of putting it. Okay. So we get that, and we can go grab a useful party member. Let's grab Anno, and we'll try that again. It's a bit tricky. You need a way to get your corrupted save on your memory card, which needs like Codebreaker or Game Shark. Yeah, I actually had both of those. I was one of those terrible people that, as a kid, like when I played a game that I didn't particularly like the gameplay of it, but I really liked the other stuff, then I would just pop those codes on. Like I just didn't care at all. And now I don't do that. Well, I mean, since the HD generation and internet connectivity, that's not possible anymore. But at the time, there were a lot of RPGs that I probably wouldn't have finished if it weren't for those Game Shark codes. And that sounds pretty sad, but I mean that's what it was at the time. Grew up with Game Genie for the NES, so that's just part of it. Yeah. I know that seems sacrilegious to a lot of people now, but it's like, yeah, that was what it was at the time. Ooh, we can go in. Oh, this has got to be awful. Oh, okay, here's a place to do this. We have another one of these. Okay, do I have the bomb with me? No, I don't. Okay. Gotta go get a bomb to try that. Look back on cheating poorly now, but as a kid, you don't care. I honestly don't really care too much about it now either, but there's just a lot of things where it's like, you know, I didn't need to do that. That I ended up robbing myself of parts of the game that I would have enjoyed. You know, there are some games that I enjoy way more now that I can go back to them and play them the way they were intended. And then there are other parts of games that, you know, I absolutely have no problem just uh, putting on the codes, get my way through. And one of the really useful things about the codes too was that, when I played Banjo-Kazooie on stream, I used the codes because, like, you know, normal playthrough of that game is not that interesting now, so many years later. But playing it with codes that give you like infinite jump and infinite health and stuff like that, you can start like really analyzing things and talking about it, which you can't really do otherwise. So like I sat there for probably 10 minutes just getting repeatedly attacked by one of the enemies so that I could talk about its enemy design and stuff like that. If you feel using cheats and save states, you just don't get the same experience you would by beating the game legitimately. Yeah, to a certain extent, it is a different experience for sure, and some parts of that I think can be good, and some parts are bad. There are games where some parts of the game are literally just there to waste your time, and I don't feel bad at all about skipping that kind of stuff. Um, I can't seem to find anything to do here. Um, let's see. And I think that's kind of the good thing about games that had difficulty select, is that you could still, for the most part, get the experience of you know, the harder difficulty modes through whatever difficulty worked for you. Because not every game's about like trying to be the most brutal thing in the world. Oops, I got a wisdom nut. Like, honestly, this is a game that if I were really to have done it at the time, I probably would have turned on a cheat to get rid of the random battles. I think this game is way more fun as a puzzle game than it is as an RPG. Sort of take all that into the opinion, though. If you could take the tedious or bad bits, then out. You think suddenly you think a generally bad game is good. Yeah, to a certain extent. I guess I just don't really have a problem with that. I think that improves. Like how to put it. There's a lot of games where one part of the game maybe ruins the experience, but there's a lot of other aspects of the game that are worth looking at for other reasons, for their own reasons. Like this game, for instance, I think it's worth looking at what the game was trying to do, and where it failed and where it succeeded. And if I were to have played this game on an original PlayStation 2, I probably wouldn't get this far in the game because it's you know, all the time speed up and slow down stuff really makes this game way more bearable, and that's not something that was on the original console. So I think maybe for the first impression of game, it's probably a good idea to at least try to get through whatever the game's, you know, giving you. But if at some point it just stops being fun, then and you want to continue, then I don't know. I don't see a problem with just skipping over the things that bother you to see the things you do want to see. Because there's a lot of different, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to find good things in games. I think the main thing is that the way I've been doing a lot of these playthroughs, because I love looking at games that are failures and figuring that stuff out, figuring out what makes a game a bad game and what they could have done to mitigate that. And a lot of that requires the patience of going through those parts that suck. But yeah, I think I lost the tangent. Yeah. Yeah, and it's all what you want to get out of the game too. You know, let's see, where was I gonna go? Oh, I need to drop off Anno. He's kind of useless right now. I'm gonna go get Bag Off, and let's go to the super hard dungeon and see if we can get through there. I had this issue. I was playing some games from a game jam. Actually, I think a game jam stuff is a perfect example of like stuff where you have to look at it not as it is, but at what it was trying to do usually. Um, because for the most part, those things are made in like 2 weeks. They're rushed. They're buggy. Not all the content is there that they ever intend. It's inevitable. And so it's really fun, in my opinion, to look at those games and even when a game is not at all fun. Like I've played a lot of those games that are not fun. In fact, a lot of them that I have not finished for that reason. Um, but a lot of them are worth going through to see the creativity on display on what they're trying to get at. Because a lot of people have great ideas that they just maybe don't have the skill to execute, or they didn't have the time, or whatever. And I think that can go all the way through AAA games. I mean, it's kind of interesting looking at how the issues that people are talking about with Halo right now, where it seems like even though everything is in place and seems to be working the way the person who made that one piece intended, it's like the conflict of all these systems combined that makes it not work. And it's interesting to look at it from that perspective. And I was talking about this the other day with the Haunted PS1 Madvent calendar, how like there's a lot of games on that are not necessarily fun, and their mechanics are maybe frustrating or not very good, but there's a lot of other things that are worth considering and looking at in those games than the parts that are not good. And now that I think about it, that was an issue I had back when I played the first Haunted PS1 demo disc. Not the first one, the second one, but it was my first one. Is there were a lot of games that I just outright didn't like on the disc. But now that I think about it, now that I go back to them, like they had a lot of great aspects of them that I kind of skipped over because I was too focused on wanting gameplay that wasn't there or something like that, and I don't know if that means that if you don't like the gameplay on one of them, then by all means you don't have to you don't have to buy it or keep going with it and that kind of stuff. But it's always fun looking at those, especially when they're free and there's like no risk involved. And I'm curious, there's a couple people I've been following on this Haunted PS1 stuff that I'm wondering if they're going to make a larger game soon. A lot of them seem to do a lot of game jams, and it feels like they're testing out little ideas and saying like, oh, does this one work? Did people like this one? Is the consensus yes? Then maybe we'll add that into our full game or something. And then it's kind of interesting to see when those games do get released, like if they make a demo or something, and then release it as a full game, like what the scope of that usually entails. Because like I played Mummy Sandbox, which was one of the best demos I think on the Haunted PS1 demo disc 2021, and it came out and it was like only about twice as long as the demo disc, but that was perfect. And also, it was only $3, which was great. And then one of the other ones that I enjoyed a lot was the Chameleon. And that game came out and was about, I would say, 3 times as long as the demo on the demo disc. And that one was also really great. That one also really worked well. And that one felt really the right length. I think that the Mummy Sandbox felt a little short. Oh, this is another place I could go, isn't it? This feels like something. What is this? I'm curious to see if any of the people making these jam games are working on like a 20-hour adventure, Now that I'm starting to dig a little bit into how to make games myself. It's like it's so interesting seeing all the stuff that goes into it and like how actually really involved it is. A revive potion. You let people make the games for you. Totally fair. Yeah, for the longest time, man, I had tried to make games in the past, like many years ago. It was like something that I tried like every 4 years or something, and every time I always got stumped at the programming stage. I was always like, I do not have the patience for this. Because they would always start you out by saying, okay, if you want to learn programming, you got to learn the basics from the start, which means you got to learn, you know, print, parentheses, quotation marks, hello world, and then continue from there. And it was always like, it was always at such a snail's pace that I was like, oh no, I don't have the patience for this, because I was always like, I want to get to a point where a character is moving on a screen, and I could never get to that point. And I realize now that I'm going back, and like the pandemic gave me the amount of time that I needed off from work to like actually try to dig into it for real. That like, yeah, I really should have done that. I really should have stuck with that. That was kind of important. Ooh, sign. North to the Dark Forest. Beware of bandits. Here we are. We're going into the bandit forest. And Dory faces. I did a game jam a few months ago now, the 32-bit game jam, and I think that was super helpful for forcing me to learn some of that stuff. Because I essentially had to play every single role all at once. I didn't team up with anyone because I didn't know what skills I had. I mean, I'm a musician, so I could write the music, but there were so many musicians in the group already that no one needed an extra one. Um, so I ended up trying out all the different roles, and only through that did I realize that I think the most fun thing for me was learning how to make characters, and that I wasn't too great at some of the other things. I learned where my strengths and weaknesses lie, and now I can work to work on those. And hopefully, at the end, it'll end up in a decent game. But who knows? For a long time, I'd been wondering why, you know, there's lots of clones of like um, Castlevania and Metroid and the Metroidvania stuff, and platformers and Mario clones and stuff like that, but there's not a whole lot of Zelda clones, and now I'm realizing why. It's very hard. You wrote a choose your own adventure game in BASIC on the calculator when you were a kid. That's as far as you get. That's pretty impressive on a calculator. Yeah, the way that I actually got kind of started in trying some programming stuff was doing text adventure kind of stuff too. Seems like a good way to start. And when I say I'm now doing programming, I by no means mean that I'm any good at it. Only that I've learned enough to survive right now. And the funny thing is a lot of the jam games are not that far off from a text adventure game or a choose your own adventure. They're like that plus art. And I have learned with these jams that like everybody, once they have their own skill, they can find someone else who has the skills that they don't have. There's always constantly musicians looking for work, and so you can always find someone to make music for you. It seems like more often than not, I've found it's the programmers that are in most high demand, because I think that's naturally the part that is the most dry. It takes the longest to get to results, I guess. I don't know. That's my impression of it based on having done all the other aspects, but then again, I am a musician, so I have that that bias against it, where I think, you know, I can whip out a composition real quickly because I have years of training in it, and an artist can probably whip out a drawing or a 3D image pretty quickly through years of training, but and probably so can a programmer. But without that skill, you think it's the hardest thing in the world. Feel like graphic artists would be at a premium? Yeah, maybe. I've found that there's usually plenty of the three. Well, I say usually of the groups that I've been interacting with in the last few months. There have been. I'd say there's been a good mix of all of them, but mainly there's been lots and lots of musicians, and 3D artists that that do like character work. I think you're probably right that graphic artists. I think it's the boring stuff that nobody wants to do, like UI elements, like title screens, environments, stuff like that. That's where those people are rare, I think. The necessary work, but not necessarily the most exciting work. How do you get involved with a game jam without being a developer? They're usually on itch.io, and you don't even have to. Usually, you don't even have to commit to it. If you have a itch.io account, then you just click the join jam button and you're in. But beyond that, with the 32-bit game jam, I I joined that, and then I joined their Discord, and I sort of just lurked in their Discord for a little while and looked at what people were doing, played their games, sort of, you know, got a good idea of what they were all doing. Downloaded a bunch of free software, like Blender's totally free, and that's awesome software. I downloaded Godot, another free engine. Those are the two that I've been using the most. And, you know, just went through some tutorials with them, and that's all. I found a piece of the map. Cool. Okay, so I don't have this one. Maybe I have to wait for the bandits to be there. But this is where the big dungeon is, then. Old Quarry Ruins, south. Easy to get lost. Yeah, that's for sure. You just know someone who's great with pixel art, but would love to get into game development aspect, even if small. Yeah, I think the jams are a great place for that. I mean, you know, if you have a little bit of art, you just throw it out there. And like the 32-bit game jam and the Haunted PS1 stuff had like collaboration channels on their Discords where they're just like, yeah, just post some stuff and say what you want to do, and someone will find you and pick you up. And I imagine, you know, even if it's not like working on something amazing right away, you know, someone will find a use for you to do something. That's been my impression of the two that I've been in so far. Is like when the jam time comes around, like people are always looking for someone, and and sometimes during the middle of the jam, they'll be like, "Oh no, we need another 2D artist right now because ours flaked on us or whatever." So there's always opportunities to do something, and like I used the game jam that I joined. I used it not as an opportunity to make a game, but as an opportunity to just like dedicate the time of the jam to learning as much as I could. I didn't think I was going to finish anything, and really, when you look at what I did, I didn't finish anything. I have a basic character, I have a couple of environment objects, I have a little bit of music, and the character can move around, and that's about it. There's no enemies, there's no hazards, the health bar doesn't even work. But it was just an opportunity to to just, you know, learn a lot of that stuff. So I won the jam. You know, as they say on the jam rules for that one, your game is its own reward. And it's really kind of the truth. Like, that was the best thing from all of that, was like at the end of 2 weeks looking at what you did, even if you didn't finish, and just being like, yeah, I made that thing. Even if it's not fun, and even if people don't like it, and it gets like 1-star ratings and stuff, it's like, yeah, I made that. Alright, so we're in the Nightmare Dungeon, but this seems the most doable. Maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. Oh, but I did level up the party. That's not great. Okay, I gotta heal. Oh, Bagoth is not doing great. Of course, he's kind of weak right now, too. No map. Dungeon, have no map. A thawing. Strange Person. That is the name of the enemy we are fighting. It is just Strange Person. I didn't even notice that. Wow. I have to say, when I joined the jam, I did not think I was gonna I didn't know how much to expect I was going to accomplish during it. And more than that, I didn't expect that that the groups were going to be also at my level, you know? Like, there's people of all skill levels that join those things, which I thought was really interesting. There's some people in there who have been doing jams for, like, years. And there's some people like me that are like, I don't know how code. How code do. Wow! They killed Rummy. That's no good. Demon B has been defeated. Alright, let's heal. Okay. Let's get Claire's healing then. Oh, it's gonna be in magic. Heal yourself. Wow, 830 HP. That's a good heal. That's a good one. But these enemies are pretty brutal. Although it does kind of seem like they're the right level for me right now. Okay, there we go. Where? Oh, no map. I don't know where I'm going. Oh man, speaking of games that people don't like that I've tried to get into, I was just thinking about how I was kind of disoriented, and that reminds me of Quest 64, one of the few RPGs on the Nintendo 64. And that game is so disorienting. Just gives you no indication. Well, what's disorienting about it is, beyond not really giving you a clear sense of direction, every single battle takes place on the world map, but it's also turn-based, and you get turned around from the battles. It's really nasty, and they're huge labyrinth environments. Quest 64 is almost irredeemable. Yeah, a little bit. It's cute. It's cute. That's what I will say about it. It seemed to be trying to do something, but yeah, its battle system is its death. And It's kind of the same with Iden Chronicles. That was the other one. The other big RPG on the platform. Iden Chronicles was super ambitious, but its environments were super large, and the battle system was not the best. And so it's so easy to get lost in there. I played Iden Chronicles twice, not to completion, but just played it twice to try to go somewhere in the game. And both times I ended up in completely different locations, doing completely different things. Which was kind of cool, but... No, oh man, no map. I have no idea where I'm going here. Oh, this is where I came from. Oh, I can go down. I should have gone down, I guess. This is a poorly designed dungeon. But this reminds me of the Pokemon caves. Like a lot of the early Pokemon dungeon caves were kind of not great. They kind of look like this too. Don't see no Zubats? Yeah. Not yet. Okay, where else can we go? Oh, this is probably where I went, isn't it? Oh no, this is the lower level. Okay. I'm starting to get a feel of what's going on here. I think I want to try to get out of this dungeon and through the north, whatever north exit there is, or I guess western exit, and try to get map pieces. And then I think I will probably spend the rest of the time trying to figure it out, figure out where to go next on my own. I don't know. Oh, what the heck's going on here? Just so that I don't waste time doing grinding on stream when I have no idea where I'm going. Oh, and I still have to use the bomb on the wall. Try that anyway. I never actually got to do that because we died before that could happen. Oh no, Rummy died again. I'm surprised Rummy's taking a lot of damage. They must have an element that she's weak against. Okay, Rummy, heal up. Skill, no. It's in magic. There we go. Is it because she has the lowest HP? No, that's not really the case. Well, maybe. Yeah, that's probably what it is. They're focusing on her. Found a wisdom nut. More strange persons. Well, are they supposed to be Mokujins, or are they, skeletons? I've been trying to figure out this game's art style, too. There's definitely... In the town area, the names of the people are all Greek, it seems. That seems to be what they're going for. But they have a mix of, like, tribal-looking stuff, jungle tribal stuff, and then there's a few traditional Japanese things, but not very many. Man, I have no idea. Okay. I gotta pick a different direction, then. I gotta try to go down to the bottom level. And I should have bought one of those enemy things that lowers the encounter rate. Oh man, every time I click on the map and I'm like, yeah, I can use the map, right? No. It's out of habit now. It's hard to tell what's going on here because of the way it's textured, and because of the map. Map's kind of bad. I mean, not the map, the camera. Okay, so how do I get down to the bottom level? I got a DH egg. I'm worried I'm going in circles. It's these demons that are difficult. This is the first time we've really gotten into a situation that was challenging, but not miserable. Not too easy and not too hard. So, hopefully there's something to do here. Though I suspect, because I was able to do the thing with the Woodcutter's Village, they pointed me toward the Celestial Village, and I have a feeling there was something I was supposed to do there, and I just never figured it out. So I think off stream what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time, maybe just spend a loop sitting there with Poogie and maybe Kite and someone else in the crew, and just hang out and see what happens there for a while. Okay, so did I explore this side? Oh, I didn't heal bag off. I gotta do that. Okay, not too bad. Let's heal up the party.